Thank you for attending this evening's version of The Human Narrative entitled Authenticity. As with every event we throw, we don't really know what the night's going to bring. So I'm excited to see what happens tonight. I feel like it's a more intimate crowd, and I like that about it. But let me get into a little bit of what The Human Narrative is, who I am, and how this whole thing came about. Can you kill those lights, Dylan?
Yeah, that's what I was just
So I am Robbie Rapole. This is my tattoo studio, Rad Ink. And I realized I have a space that we can have really cool meetings like this. And so Chad came to me and he was like, hey man, let's do this thing. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a cool thing. You want to handle it? And he's like, yeah, I'll handle it. And I was like, oh, cool. So Chad's been handling this thing, and part of handling this thing is handling me.
not an easy task.
It's not, because like I avoid shit and whatnot. And he's like, yo, I need this. And I'm like, I can't do the bird. I can't find it. I don't know. And Chad's been here every step of the way pushing me to continue doing this thing that he brought to me. And it was like the coolest thing. And every night that we do this, there's mental breakthroughs, emotional breakdowns, and laughter and fun and a beautiful, like kind of, round table of goodness. So that's why I really like the fact that it's kind of a smaller group here, because even if everybody speaks, it'll still be a pretty mellow night. We went really long last time. It was really cool. So many people, like 70% of the audience, got up and spoke. So if you are thinking of speaking, I implore you, get up here and speak. if you're scared, every single person that comes up here to speak is scared. I am scared right now. I'm just really good at dealing with anxiety. And I do weird things like play with the fucking wire. This is such a cool fidget spinner. Like, it's the best. Like, and now that we sit down and talk, it's even easier. And so we've just been creating this thing as it goes, and I thank everyone that comes out every time, because like you guys are really contributing to making a magical evening. And so I am Robbie Rapole. This is Chad Talley. I own Rad Inc. He owns Rad Paranormal. I started the Rad movement. He is a part of the Rad movement. Yeah, you're the Rad movement right there. Yay. I like being able to live stream everywhere. So thank you, Internet World, for being here. It's really cool to have you guys here. I'm looking at, 3 different streaming devices and like this dude with fucking cameras and shit. Like, this is like such a cool feeling to have this happening in my studio. That has been such a labor of love, but like such a cool thing, because like every time it's hard to make it happen, it still happens. And like, it just reminds me why we do this. So that was my beginning rant. Welcome to the human narrative entitled Authenticity. Tonight we're going to talk about what authenticity means to us, and like how it shows up in our lives, and just really, I love these nights because it's like one word or like one concept, and then you figure it out as you go along. So as things typically go, I'm going to bring Mr. Chad Talley up to do the first speakings and such. So, welcome, Mr. Chad Talley.
Hello, thank you. All right, as he mentioned, we talked about this earlier. I'm going to hold the microphone closer to my face instead of down here where you can't really hear. So I'm Chad Talley. Thank you for coming to the Authenticity event that we have tonight. And as with most times, I went ahead and wrote everything down because I like to get bullet points in my head and get it out on paper, and then when I get up here, it just goes. But we live in an age where social media is everything. Social media influencers, and when you're skimming your For You page or your news feed, you're mostly just seeing the highlights of people's lives, or the low times that are framed in a positive light. And you can find yourself comparing your happiness to others, where you're like, oh, why am I struggling so much? Why is it so easy for them? And you can get down on yourself. And that's why authenticity is so important. Because otherwise, you think you're alone. That's why when I was given a platform by Robbie, I started talking about my struggles with mental health. I've struggled with OCD for as far back as I can remember. Back when I was younger, I would be afraid that, oh, what if I hurt my sister? What if I do this? And then as time went on, I knew that I had OCD, but I didn't know what that meant. So I struggled a lot, and I bottled a lot of things up, and as what happens when you bottle things up, they pour out, and you have breakdowns, you have anxiety attacks. And that's why being authentic for me and telling you of my struggle, because I want to help people. I want people to understand that it's okay to need help. If you need it, seek it. There are organizations out there. For me, it was the International OCD Foundation and No OCD and No OCD, and then Treat My OCD and OCD Excellence helped me a lot. They helped me better understand my own OCDs, things that I would go through when I was younger. Because of these mental health advocates and these organizations, I realized that the things I was going through back then were part of my OCD, and that's why I was feeling those things and having those thoughts and spiraling. Like recently, I had a flare up recently where I was at home alone, and I was a little bit inebriated, a little bit more than I probably should have been. And when I put Cora to bed, I had an OCD thought, and I just spiraled. And if I didn't have my toolkit, because of those organizations and my support groups and my therapies and my community conversations on the IOCDF, that flare would have lasted a lot longer. I've had flare-ups that have lasted months and to the point where like I can't go on like this anymore. But because I have these toolkits and these things that I can go to and people that are authentic and voice, I'm struggling as well, I'm better able to handle it, and I have my toolkit I can dip into, and what would have lasted months only lasted a week and a half. But I do have a poem I don't often write. I wrote this poem in the middle of this flare-up. I used to write a lot. I found that I can mostly write really well or get motivated to write when I'm either depressed or anxious or, not having a good time. When I'm happy, I'm not really motivated to write because I find it hard to find the motivation to write. But I have this poem that I want to read that I wrote in the middle of my flare-up. And there it goes. I ripped it a little bit. I'm going to read this to you. It's the first I've written in a long time, so be gentle. So it goes, inside my chest there is an incessant pounding. Beside this pest, running with the presence bounding. This electric twisting and pulling, the ache is resounding. Every fiber feels ablaze and it's resisting its grounding. Crunching numbers, searching symptoms, intrusive thoughts of harming victims. An exposure with prevention, meant for closure without attention. Invisible battles, resisting compulsions. Flashes bringing internal revulsion and mentally infernal convulsion. Disassociation specific to this location. Inside this mind of mine, self-negotiation prolific. A reassurance donation denied, drawing a line and leaving it blind. A light, a hope, a transformative escape rope. A fight, a scope, a determinative way to cope. So that's what I have. That's the authentic me. The authentic me is somebody who struggles with their mental health, who has flare-ups, who wants other people to know that it is okay to struggle and that if you need help, seek it. Because needing help isn't a sign of weakness. If you need help and you admit it and you look for it, it's a sign of strength and bravery. And that's what I have on authenticity.
That was rad. That was inspirational, and that was so relatable. Like, so many fucking words you said in that poem just hit me, and I was like, it just kind of kept feeling like you were coming with the hits, man. And that's like such a good representation of like what a not settled state of mind could feel like. So that was really relatable and like helped me a lot just in hearing that. And I am going to speak now. As I said before, I'm Robbie Rapole, and I struggle with authenticity a lot. Even though most people tell me that they love my authenticity and the way I show up, it's still like a filtered version of what I want people to see. And I feel like that's pretty fucking natural. It's pretty fucking scary. But at the end of the day, it's just what it is, right? So I tell people all the time, I give advice, if you're scared, just fucking do it and still be scared. And so like that's what it is, right? Being authentic, I am scared to be authentic because I'm afraid of how you're gonna judge me. And like there's scientific studies about how like atoms behave differently when they're being observed. So I don't want you fucking looking at me because I'm gonna behave differently. So now if I'm authentic, then you see the fucking real me, you get to see what a dark fucking piece of shit I can be. You get to see what a scared victim I can be. You get to see all the fucking negative thoughts I have that I fucking hate that I have. And like that's really fucking hard to share for me because a lot of people that know me, they know me as the positivity guy, the rad movement guy. He's a motivational speaker. That motherfucker lost his leg and does all kinds of wild shit. So like, I like know that that's something about me that I've like put out there on purpose. because my ego needed that. Because I needed to know that I was still strong. After losing such a big part of myself, it really isn't that much a big part of myself, but like, to find my authenticity through this has been fucking brutal. Because like I had to face all kinds of fucking scary shit. And it's like, cool, like I know I won't die, but fuck, maybe I could if this infection doesn't, gets me. Like fuck, what, how do I share this fucking scared child I feel like every fucking time I go into the hospital thinking it's gonna be cool, and then I got a fucking surgery I didn't expect on a fucking Thursday. Like, why did this happen today? Why am I going in for another fucking surgery? And like, I used to struggle so hard sharing that shit, but I made myself do it, and I made myself share it on Facebook Live every fucking time. And it was like really hard, and it was stupid, but like a lot of people told me it really helped because it wasn't stupid. It was just hard. And then when fucking Tosh.0 fucking came at me in every fucking single way he could the night before I went into surgery number 6, I think. I like, dude, I'm about to lose my fucking leg, and now Tosh.0 is fucking roasting me. This doesn't, dude, I didn't even fucking realize that was real life until I just said it at this moment, because I dissociated, I guess. Because like I just went on this rant, like, who hurt you, Tosh? Why would you do this to people? This sucks dick. And like, that's the hill I thought I would die on, right? But like, authentically me, I wanted to beat him up. But I knew that would be stupid. Because it wasn't going to change nothing. I was going into fucking surgery, and everything that was going to happen was going to fucking happen. And I ended up where I ended up, and every struggle I've faced since then, I've had some shit that's almost equally as hard since then. And like, because I've been through that, and because I authentically shared that experience, I'm no longer afraid to move forward. I'm afraid to do it, but like, I'm not afraid to move forward and do it fucking scared. Because that's how I do everything, because I'm fucking terrified, as per our first human narrative, talking about fear. Like, I do everything around fear, and I try not to. And like, sharing that shit out loud is really fucking hard. And I know I need to do it for me, and maybe for somebody else who might be struggling with similar shit. But like, fuck. If it's hard for you, it's fucking just because it's hard. It's not because you're weak and not because you can't do it. If it's hard for you, you're fucking human, dog. Like, that's just what it be. So like, being your true self means just fucking being the person that you're afraid to show people. The person that when you talk about it, like, you start crying and shit. And like, you just can't help but be moved thinking about and feeling and being in that. So like, for me, being authentic is like accepting my faults, but also celebrating my wins. And doing things scared. And even though I may pause, not stopping just because fear is a factor. Because if you remove fear, then you can do anything. But just saying the word scares me, like, because it's so real, and it's something that just fucking keeps us alive, right? We were, around tigers and shit when we were fucking our ancestors, so like, you gotta run from tigers. So we started at like ages ago, so many ancestry lineages ago, like, of just like learning how to be scared to stay alive. And sharing that I'm fucking scared to be alive more times than I would like to, but as many times as I know need to, it fulfills me as well as it scares me. So like, there's another side to this, right? We talked about the shadow work side, which was all the shit that we just talked about. And that shit sucks. But look where I went first. Because I'm a dirty little sad boy. And I want to feel sad. Because it's so easy to fucking feel sad. It's so easy to be a fucking victim. That's why emo music kicks ass. But like, everybody has a dark place that they want to go to. But on the other side of that, there's this beautiful fucking light. There's this beautiful, endless river of love and fucking joy and positivity and energy, and like all your fucking gifts and all your fucking magic flows from inside of you. And nobody told you that, probably until now. So like, remember, you've got all this fucking beautiful shit inside of you. So if you're scared, just fucking do it. If you know you got magic, fucking lean into it. We're all fucking playing a simulation video game, some shit. We're in the fucking Matrix. This shit isn't real. So we get to write exactly what the fuck we want to write. So if you believe enough in becoming your authentic self, and just, even when you're scared to show you who you are, just do it. And the beauty and the magic that comes from that is like the gift you get for all the fucking pain you fucking put yourself through working up to that moment. And like, it's a constant, lifelong battle. And I know this because I have mentors that are older than me that tell me that it's still the same shit. So you just gotta keep showing up as your true, authentic self. And you have to do that for you. Because if you don't do that for you, you're gonna be fucked. Because if you can't believe in yourself, how the fuck can anyone else believe in you? You could borrow my belief for a little bit, but I only got so much to borrow. But I'll help you. I'll get you there until you believe in yourself. But you need a lot of those people in your life to remind you that you're doing great just being you. That's why as much torment as the internet can try and put somebody through, I also actually have way more positive experiences with people on the internet reaching out to me, telling me, hey, your true authentic self kicks ass. And like, every time I like want to be like, no, and then I'm like, wait, no, thank you. It's like, fuck, thank you, but damn, that hurts. It hurts to hear nice things. And so like, I've learned how to settle into hearing nice things, and even if it does hurt, I just block that bitch. Because I know my true authentic self is rad as fuck. Like, I teach a course called the Rad Academy Powered by the Magical Motherfucker Method. It's a very fucking long title, but it's fucking straight and to the point. I'm gonna help you find out the most magical motherfucker that you are. Because we've all got it inside of us. And that's one thing that we need to tie to the word authentic, is our fucking magic. Because it's truly who the fuck you are. Yeah, sure, you're an asshole too, and you're a bitch, and you're a jerk, and you're a fucking wiener, and you're a sissy, and you're beautiful, and you're wonderful, and you're terrible. Like, you're all the fucking things because you're human. So like, lean into the fucking good things, like being authentic, and looking at authentic like, oh fuck, you mean doing things that make me feel like I'm in love? Oh, that's what fucking your true authenticity feels like? Because that's what it feels like, right? You go on a date, you're fucking panicked. If you're anything like me, you smoked a couple joints and drank a bunch of vodka while you're on the way to the fucking date. Then you get there and everything's cool, or it sucks, whatever, it fucking happens. But that's the way this shit makes me feel. I want to fucking, like, chug booze and fucking, like, run away from the fucking anxiety that it brings to sit up here. But, like, at the end of the day, like, it's the feeling that makes you feel like you're in love. Like, it's fucking, it makes you feel sick to feel in love sometimes. You're like, oh, I'm not with them, I hurt. So it's like, I get panicked before we do these things. But like, that's the toll, right? That's the fucking beginning. That's like going to the gym, right? You go and you put in the work, you get some good shit on the other side. And if you show up as your true authentic self, the pain that you face before doing it is not gonna fucking outweigh the prize you get on the other side of having done it. Because you're pretty fucking badass, more likely than not. You've accomplished some wild shit, I would imagine. Because we're all on a weird, fucked up journey called life, and we've all made it 100% of the fucking days up until now. So if you just lean more into who the fuck you really are, and that true badass motherfucker inside of you that got you through all that hard shit, if you live like that person and then happy, shit, you're good to go. So lean into being authentic is a good thing. What I want to end on. Thank you guys for listening. And we changed up the format a little bit to where me and Chad were really the only scheduled speakers, but now we open the floor because we usually have a pretty good turnout of people that want to talk. That's all I'm saying. So if you really want to talk and you're afraid to, being your true authentic self might be sharing your magic with this room. So whoever wants to go, come up, raise your hand, yell, blow kiss. I know there is not one person that doesn't want to come up. Yeah, listen to Donna.
I'm working, sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm looking at Dave now. That's the cool thing, you don't have to be
I
prepared.
think that we should always just plan that Kiki goes after whoever's.
That's true, yeah. No, just keep it a surprise every time. Ladies and gentlemen, Kiki Poirier.
He only had to say, just do it scared 18,000 times. And I was like, all right. So, I had Chad on my podcast, and when he was there, we talked about how I would share part of my story whenever I had the chance to be in front of a microphone, because that's something that I'm passionate about. And that was a word, and fear was a word that we talked about here. Help was a word, which I've asked for that every day for almost a month now. So, yeah, the human narrative has been a great tool for my life. So thank you. So, I knew at that point that I would talk at the next human narrative, and my word of the year is commitment. So the only thing I didn't do was commit to you guys that I was going to do it, but
We knew you
I
were.
had every excuse in the book not to show up tonight. So part of that is my journey to authenticity is a little bit embarrassing. Because I identify as a pathological liar. My sister's here tonight, so she can, vouch for some of this, but we grew up in a toxic household that, there was lies all over the place. Babysitters would lie, my biological father would lie, like lying was just a normal thing in our household. And it's my sister's, so it's like
That's so fitting.
So that's
That was killer.
So growing up around lying, it just I googled pathological lying and another word for lying, but it basically says sometimes you do that to avoid the abuse. You come up with a lie to avoid the abuse. And we weren't physically abused, but we were emotionally, spiritually, and, it was a toxic household. So we would lie to just avoid whatever situation it was. I have distinct memories where I am now of being in front of a bunch of people, and a friend and I are arguing with each other, and I was lying, and I remember that I was lying, and I couldn't get my body to tell the truth. So I ended up destroying her reputation, because everybody believed me in that situation, and you know, who knows where she's at now. But that's something that I carry, and like I distinctly, through my healing, I remember this situation. I'm like, I feel terrible. But I think I'm a very authentic person now. And part of that journey is being obnoxious with my truth. I've had many affairs, and I would call them successful because I got caught when I was ready to get caught. And that's because I got so good at lying when I was a kid. So the way through workshop, of course, like that was a huge foundation for me. Being able to be brutally honest with a room full of people and then be loved after that, that was a big step. And my husband ended up just like double downing on our vows and holding space for me while I fought some demons. And as I'm chasing these demons about having affairs and lying and like trying to stop lying, I had to be obnoxiously honest with all of my thoughts. That's the only way I could figure out how to battle that. So I would share all of my ugly thoughts with him, and I feel terrible that he was the one that was holding that space. But at the time, we didn't have a tribe. It was just the two of us trying to figure this shit out. So, yeah, so I feel like I'm really proud of myself. And on the way here, I was even saying, like, I'm so in love with myself and, like, the person that I've become. And it's led to some social fucking awkwardness. Like, I embarrass myself all the fucking time because I just say dumb shit. But it's how I don't have time to come up with a fucking lie to be like, oh, I'm cooler than this because, you know, I would lie about dumb shit. Like, and that's what being a pathological liar is. You just lie about this shit to just, like, you know, make the story a little more elaborate, or, you know, to be more like the popular kid, or to get more pity or more reaction or more drama. And like, I don't know. Through my healing, I've recognized the role models that I've had through that and why it became normal for me. But yeah, I guess part of my story is like advocating that to fight that is you kind of got to be annoying and find your people that you can be really honest with, you know, whether it's a therapist or a spouse or a friend or a parent, you know, and just, it's going to get ugly and it's going to get hard. And I remember having a conversation with a friend, holy shit, like, this is in my last 3 years of life. I lied to one of my best fucking friends about nothing. And it was in a group setting, and then when we ended up being one-on-one, I'm like, dude, I fucking lied about this thing, and I have no idea why I lied, and I'm really sorry that I lied, and I don't feel like I need to tell those people that I lied, but I feel like I need to tell you that I lied. And she loved me through it so much through that, because, like, you know, she just loves me. But yeah, it's just fighting those demons, and they still show up, and yeah, don't lie. It doesn't serve nobody. Be honest, even if it's awkward. It's my words. Yeah, that's my story.
Man, once again, that one hit me in a lot of different ways. I thought that was really wild of you to share so boldly. Fucking, I know shit ain't easy. Good on you. Kiki mentioned the Way Through workshop, which is where I've met a lot of you people through. It's a way to find a way through. It's very odd because everybody that goes, like, their experience is specifically different. And if you like really like let your guard down and fucking do the work, like you find some shit there. You might not like it, but like I found a really great fucking tribe of humans. I found a lot of shit I didn't like, but you know, they helped me through it. Like you said, you know, just like kind of lose your shit and then be loved. You know, I remember when David was yelling at me to be angry, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to be I'm scared and I'm fucking shaking, and he's like, go fucking do it. And I'm like, ah, and like, well, like everybody loved me even though I got to be angry in that moment. It was really weird and cool and healing. So yeah, so if it's something you're thinking about doing it. If there's something you might need in your life, just give it a try, give it a look. It's really cool. That's called the Way Through Workshop, and it's like really powerful. Just do the work, and you face and slay some demons, even though some people are scared that something needs to happen. And I kind of feel like it's just like facilitated shadow work. A lot of it is, because like shadow work's a really weird concept, and it's hard to explain what it is, but like, yeah, that's what it feels like. So, does anyone else want to speak? And if you want to and you're afraid to, you probably should.
I know I saw a comment of somebody wanting to speak.
Oh, you mean Dylan?
Yeah.
Oh, Dylan. Are you gonna come do the thing?
Yeah, I'll come do it.
Fuck yeah. So I want to tell a quick little story about how I know Dylan. He sent in a booking request to get tattooed. They said that he was a tattooer, and I was like, oh, cool. And then, like, I realized he was a tattooer that lived in Oregon and was moving to Florida, and this dude's wild, man. We hit it off really well when I tattooed him, and now he does what the fuck it takes to be at work 5 days a week, even though he lives physically 3 hours away. So I just wanted to kind of say, damn dog, that to me seems like showing up authentically. So I just wanted to share with people a little bit of background of who the fuck I think you are. So, Mr. Dylan Brown.
So what does it mean to be authentic? In many ways for me it was trying to find a way to do the things that make you truly happy and make you do the things that, what's a good way to put this? To do the things that would make you happy and to do the things that are in your true nature to want to do immediately. So I had a really bad start at becoming very social with a lot of people. I wasn't good at it, like at all. And in many ways, it forced me into a lot of dark places in my life. And it actually forced me to try to attempt suicide twice. So, luckily, that didn't go through. I'm here, obviously. But after attempting the second time, I ended up getting a really lucky gig at working at a movie theater. And in doing so, it was one of the more popular jobs, kind of in my very small town of Grants Pass, Oregon. But it was at least an avenue I could go down and I could kind of get out and be social. Getting to obtain friends for the first time, learning the, obvious pitfalls of, being around people, you say dumb stuff, you don't mean to, that kind of thing. I don't know, you end up going through life little bit by little bit, and you start trying to be authentic, but you start faking it until you make it a lot of the time. So you start trading a little bit of your authentic self for this fake self that you perceive other people to enjoy or how you think you would be socially acceptable. So over time, this course of maybe 6 to 8 years or so, we started trading a lot more of that authentic self of who I know myself to be to this person that I thought would be socially acceptable and who I thought everybody would want me to be. And at the end of it, I found myself working at a bank. I worked there for 6 years in a 2 foot by 2 foot square working on a computer desk, and I hated it. Like, hated it. And at some point, you just have to come and realize that life's not meant to be lived in a little square block, man. It's really not. And even though it's really, really scary, and a lot of time it's really inconvenient, you just gotta go for broke, you know? You just gotta throw it all in and hope for the best. And thankfully for me, it really worked out. I get to be working in a rad place all day, every day, or at least Wednesday through Sunday, let's say. But I mean, I had the regular Ozzy and Harriet life, and I got to live in a really nice house, wear a 3-piece suit to go to work, and nearly had wife, dog, the whole 9 yards. But it wasn't true to myself, and I wasn't being my authentic self. So I sold the house. I ended up breaking up with my fiance. We're still friends, by the way. Still really nice. Ended up moving out here with really not much of a thought, honestly. Only that my brother had lived out here and he said it was kind of cool. So I literally traveled all the way across the country, and I did it to try to be my authentic self, Even when you're very scared to try things or to put yourself in a situation where you're saying, well, I could do this, but I have to flip my whole life around to even try to do this. Do it anyway. Do it because you're scared. Do it because you know in your heart that it is to be true to yourself to do so. So when you think about it and you try thinking of trading your authentic self for your fake proposed self who you think everybody's going to enjoy, do the right thing. Choose your authentic self every time. That's all I got to say, guys.
Dude, actually, you're not the only dude that just moved across the country.
No.
Matt, are you hiding behind that light?
I'm not hiding, I'm not here.
Oh, okay. To me, it's hiding because I don't see you. But I know you're not trying to. Well, are you trying to? You trying to talk?
I don't know.
You said you wanted to.
Come on, buddy.
What are you scared? Don't do it.
Come on, buddy.
Go be friends. Go be friends. That's how I got him. Matt Cheek, this dude is also fucking insane. He drove from Washington to Toledo, from Toledo to Pittsburgh, because I was there at a convention, interviewed on a busy fucking Saturday morning at the convention while I was getting a tattoo ready. Then fucking got in his car and drove back to Toledo, and then beat me here before I got off being on the road. So these dudes both got hired when we were out of town, and it was the wildest shit, but like you guys are real cool, and I appreciate y'all for being here. And yeah, man, we got two real motherfuckers in my eyes, so Mr. Matt Cheek.
Not only did I beat him back to Florida, I got my car stolen in the process. It was a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I tattooed all night, woke up with my car stolen, scraped up any bit of money I had to buy a car that barely made it to Tennessee, and tattooed some more in Tennessee, bought another car, then finally made another 10-hour drive from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee to get here, and still driving the car. So that's how that went.
That's gangster as fuck.
It was a moment of, do I give up and stress about getting my brand new car stolen that just got paid off, by the way, stolen, or muster up the courage to do what I needed to do for my kids to get down here and for my career. So that's what I had to do, is focus on that, not on materialistic things. That's where I was at with that. It was hard, very hard and heartbreaking, but you know, I did what I had to do, and I made it, and hopefully better for it. So we'll see how that goes. But authenticity. I mean, kind of going through that right now with with my partner and stuff, is not being authentic, and being an authentic person has pushed me away from a lot of people that unfortunately just can't handle truth and honesty, and honesty hurts some people, and unfortunately I'm just a very honest person, and I'm very blunt and straight to the point, and I get called a dickhead for it, but I cut straight to the point, and I don't try to sugarcoat people's feelings to appease other people. And I guess that's just the way I look at things, but not everybody else thinks that way. So, unfortunately, I'm not really good. I'm not real good at this.
You're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're doing wonderful, man.
Not real good at it. Topics are my bad subjects.
Confidence is a bad.
Killing it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's topics. It's not knowing what to talk about next. Confidence.
Talk about that.
What about confidence?
Journey with it, you battle with it.
My journey with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been self-conscious a lot, but when it comes to like being confident in myself, it's always been an up and down battle with, you're not good enough, but you are. You just gotta just shut up and just do it. And that's kind of like where I've struggled with it. Social media presence is a big one for me. It's like really bad for me in social media, and how big I want to grow my social media presence. And getting there is going to be a battle with myself, getting to where I need to be in social media, because that's where I want to be. I want to be a content creator, but confidence is really something that's not all there. But I'm working on it. I'm here. I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
My man. So, that was a good visual representation of what this feels like to do. I don't know what to say. I go through it every fucking time. I really went through it hard, creating a social media presence for myself. I remember a dude was like, "You should do more video. People fucking love you." And I'm like, "Fuck you. I don't want to do that." No shit. That was like fucking 7, 8, 9 years ago, something like that. 8 years ago or some shit. It's fucking wild. So just keep doing it and you get there. That's what I've experienced at this point. Does anyone else have anything to share this evening? Up here, from what some might consider the hot seat, and some might consider it a rad seat.
Come on, y'all. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Come on.
All right, Brittany, right? All right, Brittany. I know nothing about Brittany. I just met her tonight. So glad to meet you.
Okay, so since nobody really knows me here, I'm Brittany. I'm Kinky's sister. I am a little bit scared to be up here, but the reason I volunteered is because everything every one of y'all have said has really hit home to me. Lately I've been through a lot. I recently got divorced to a man who was so controlling that I couldn't be myself. I kept changing everything he didn't like about me. He didn't like my clothes, said I wasn't girly enough, so I started wearing pink and purple. He didn't like my short hair, so I started growing it out. I kept changing and changing and changing so much that I stopped being my authentic self. And even with all those changes, he ended up leaving me for another woman. So now I'm in the process of finding myself again. So I'm doing the things that I've always wanted to do, like cut my hair. And I just recently moved back from Texas to Florida to be with my sister. And that honestly is scary as fuck. I came up with a couple $1,000s in less than 2 weeks to get here. And I didn't know if my car was going to make it, to be honest. I didn't tell Trina that because I didn't want her to be scared. And then I had some other traumatic things that happened as well that kind of broke me. So literally everything I do in life right now is scary, even just waking up. But I try my best to be authentic, and I know sometimes I fail at that. But listening to you guys, I feel like that really inspired me and helped me a little bit. And also, I do go on social media. Like, I'm on TikTok. I'm just a small creator, but I have a follower group that does push me. And they've seen some of the things I've gone through, and they've supported me and helped me. And now I'm trying to get things together. And even though I've changed states, those people are still there because they still know me. So that's the good thing about the internet. But yeah, as hard as it is to be your authentic self, don't change yourself, because even no matter how much you change yourself, the people that are meant to be in your life are still going to be in your life. And if they're not meant to be, they're going to go either way. So yeah, that's it.
Nice to meet you. Fuck, great to meet you. Wow. I'm usually not in tears within an hour of meeting somebody, but you know. I resonated so much, dude. Been divorced twice, terrified of fucking marriage, but I went and thought it would be real cute if I bought myself a little fake wedding ring, even though we ain't married yet, so you can heal from this shit. You can find true love that actually loves you and accepts you and shit.
And fuck that dude, he ain't shit.
Cause like honestly, dude, like you're our people, dog. Like this is what we look like. This is what girls look like around here. Keep rocking it, girl. You beautiful. You know.
Fucking deserve you anyways. Fuck it.
And that is the person back there that changed my mind about marriage. It took a lot, and it took a lot, and it took a lot. And she slept on the floor in the hospital while I was losing my leg and shit. And like she stuck around every time I lost my mind and shit. And she supports me through all the good decisions, even the bad ones, just so I can learn my lessons. Yeah, you can find that shit again, man, at some point, and it'll be the right time, the right person, the right thing. You know, like, I've been through 2 divorces, so I'm proof you can make it. But when you talked about, like, just not wanting to live, I fucking felt like that a whole lot. Like, screaming in a pillow, you know, during a divorce time is really therapeutic. And it's super healthy. So if you need to do that. At any point in your life, if you need to do that, let it out. Who's next? Come on, yeah. It feels like there's more. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You keep motherfucking looking at me.
I do want to.
Then do it!
My heart, I'm trying to like ease my heart.
No, you do it. So that's that whole like do it scared thing?
Because
Come on up.
because in my mind, I'm like, no, fuck this, Ashley. You do this shit all the time.
Yeah, so there you go. Fuck this, Ashley. You do this all the time. Get the fuck out of here. It's your turn, baby.
Alright.
You wouldn't have fucking turned the lights on if you wasn't ready to do this. Yo, you got this.
Thank you.
You know, thank you.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
No, nobody does. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just fucking fake it real good.
Huh?
Even if you write it down, it goes away.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So true. So, none of you really know me besides Chad, Megan, because our daughters go to school together. Oh, I have a whole lot of shit to say.
You
How
got
much
it.
time we got? I can talk. Okay, so authenticity. I've heard a lot lately that authenticity is like the highest value emotion, feeling, projection that you could put off. And I believe there's a lot of truth in that. A lot of people think it's love. I don't think it's love. I think it is authenticity. When you show your true self, ooh, I don't do that. I identify as a Scorpio. We don't tell people shit. We show you what the fuck we want to show you. That's it. That's all we're ever going to show you. So for me to do this, oh my God. So being authentic, I think, is living. It's your words matching your actions. Your words matching your actions. Living in what the fuck you believe in, and who you are, and who you know you are, and not care. Every single one of y'all had something to say that spoke to me, and it's like a piece of me. And when I get the feeling to say something and it's scary, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyways because I'm feeling it and I got to. And I have that. Growing up, you want to talk about changes. I've been through so many changes, man. From beginning to end of trying to figure out who the hell I really am. So I used to look like you guys when I was in high school. And I listened to heavy fucking metal, and I still do, shit. I mean, I loved it. It was who I was then. And as I got older, I don't know, shit, I started to discover, there was a bet in high school, legit one year, of how many days Ashley would wear a black t-shirt. Because I didn't have any color in my life. And as I got older, I became a graphic designer because I was an artist and was either starve or do this shit. So I said, okay, I'll do this shit. And everybody used to tell me, you should do tattooing, Ashley. No, I don't want to do that. And my biggest excuse was, I ain't got time to apprentice for no year. I don't got money for that. I'm poor. So it was graphic designer. I went to college for that. And I discovered I fucking love design. Like designer, period. I love looking a certain way, dressing a certain way. It makes me feel good. I discovered at one point, shit, I do like pink. I used to give pink hell back in the day. I even smoked black fucking cigarettes. What? So, you know, like I said, getting older is like, I've changed so much and discovered so many things. And lately I've been struggling with this feeling because it's like, we get told, you know, from a young age, like, you gotta decide who you wanna be. And, you know, a lot of us growing up, we identify with who the fuck we are through the music we listen to. But, you know, that's the clique you end up in when you're in school. That's who you travel with. I didn't know where the fuck I was, but I ended up with Outkast. Somebody introduced Black Label Society to me one day, and that was it. It was on from there. And I remember getting called a poser in high school because I used to come to school one day with my Metallica tee, and the next day it'd be Backstreet Boys. I loved them both. And as I got older, I said, shit, I can love them both. Fuck them people. You know, so being authentic is like, talk about not caring what other people think. I am the fucking master at that. Everywhere I go, oh my God, these people are judging me. Telling people, partners, I feel for them in my life. Don't fucking, you ain't going out with me like that. What you doing? You know, and going through those motions all these years, it's like, you look in the mirror one day and you're like, well, who the fuck am I? Because I care so much about what all these other people think. And none of these people, honestly, if you were to ask, really don't give a shit. And that's the thing that we have to come to realize. Like, you walk in a room with people, you think people are talking about you or people are looking at you a certain way, and they really ain't studying your ass for nothing. They don't care. And the ones that do, they got nothing better to do. And you have to get over that, you know, fear of caring what other people think. I care so much, and as I'm becoming a mom, oh my God, it got worse. Oh my God, being a mom, I can't do this, I can't do that. You know, I can't show this part of myself. Suicide, been through twice as well, attempting, obviously, I'm here. I lost a nephew to that. He was 23 years old, we were 5 years apart, and I smoked a lot of dope with that kid. We had a lot of good nights talking, and I missed the hell out of him. And it tore me up to not know that he was going through some shit. And he never knew what I was going through. And, you know, I've lost my father. I lost my aunt at a young age. So I've lost a lot of people. I've dealt with a lot of loss. And I've come so far from being an entitled, spoiled fucking brat. My sister is 12 years older than me, so I grew up as an only child. My dad spoiled the shit out of me. So when he passed, it was like, oh shit, I gotta figure out this life thing on my own now. Now what am I gonna do? So you talk about walking into authenticity at that moment in time. I didn't know what the hell I was doing or where I was going or how I was gonna figure this out. And as I went on, it was just every day having to tell yourself some positive shit just to keep it going. Because like you said, darkness, everybody has light and dark in them. Everybody. Everybody has a very dark place. Everybody has a very bright and beautiful place. And I'm on my way to my bright and beautiful right now. I've been on that journey for a long ass time. And it's come with having to admit a lot of shit about myself that I don't like. And part of that is telling other people that shit, because I don't tell people that shit. Hell, you're only gonna see the good from me. If you go on any of my social media, all you're gonna see is good. You don't see the bad from my life, because I don't show people that. But I've also come to learn that I have to tell people that, because just like all y'all told me tonight, I'm sitting here in a room full of people that know the same shit I do, can relate, can feel the same shit I'm feeling. And I've been just traveling through this shit by myself. Where have I been? Where is my tribe, you know? I've said that for years. Like, I go to work, I take care of my kid, I come the fuck home. I don't got friends. What is that? I've only been in Florida for 6 years. I'm from North Carolina, if you can't tell. And in Carolina, I mean, I come from this kind of town right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to be authentic in a town like that. You know, I know who the fuck I am. These people don't know who they are. I know I ain't like them. I don't know. I gotta get out of here. And then when I come to Florida, it's like a whole different world of people. And still, it's hard to be myself. So, thank you guys for allowing me to be authentic tonight. My heart rate's dropped tremendously. All right.
Well, Ashley, wonderful to meet you as well. Man, that's it's just so cool. I love these nights because there's just so many relatable portions to so many stories. You know, I've battled with showing who I want to be on the internet so much, and that's why I had to do it. I had to show up, and I had to show the people who I was, the good, the bad, the ugly. Now, like everything that's ever been said about me, I've fucking told everyone about myself, and we all know I'm not perfect, and that's all right. And it's okay not to be okay. It's not okay to stay that way. So if you're a bad person, maybe you can be a better person. And if you're sad, you'll get happy again. You know, and if you make being happy a goal, it'll happen. That's how I started motivational speaking. I wanted to kill myself, and I decided I'm gonna Google how to be happy. And I found a bunch of motivational videos, and I was like, these guys don't look like me. They don't speak my language. Maybe I should start doing this shit because this shit saved my life. Whew. So here we are. You ready? Also just met Dave tonight, but I just felt like my man needed to speak because I heard him say it.
I'm not prepared.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Even mine?
Yeah.
I've never done this before on camera. I'm kind of camera shy. I was telling Robbie I'm 14 months sober. And big part of continuing to get drunk and high for years was not being connected to people. You know, I built indoor playgrounds everywhere. Cheese, McDonald's, churches, daycares, wherever, all over the world, U.S., Canada, everywhere building playgrounds. That's where I was comfortable being a stranger everywhere. And I'm really hyperactive and have a hard time focusing. So if I'm doing something, have to socialize with people, yeah, I'm fine. And 56 now, I can't work like a maniac climbing my whole life, even though I still do. You all right, Karen? Finding a tribe. As Scott says, we and weirdo are weird. I didn't find people to relate to until I got into recovery, and I started hearing people share fucked up shit. Addicts can talk about crazy shit they've done. Like ripping off Walmart, Home Depot, just things you do to get money, to get high. Lots of crazy shit. But now that I tried to get sober 4 years ago, I did. I was sober for 2 years, and basically I was just clean for 2 years. And I went off and did my own thing again, disconnected, isolated, went on the road, had a road job with my own suite, my own rental car when COVID hit, and they were building Amazons and cow pastures everywhere. Part of people doing that. Anyway, I totally disconnected from the people who had saved my life at Space Coast Recovery, and but nearly died. I was getting fucked up for 2 years, and last October I overdosed at my sister's house. She called 911. Paramedics. I woke up to surrounded by paramedics, and that's not a good feeling. Waking up to a room full of people and so she told me I had to get help. I obviously I did. I was just too scared to, but I really didn't have any choice. Went to circles, and there a week, and I had been addicted to opiates for since Oxycontins were popular, way back since 2000. And by the time I went to Space Coast Recovery again last January 3rd, or checked into detox December 28th, I was on fentanyl at that time, and I didn't know how bad the withdrawals were, and there was no way I could have kicked fentanyl on my own. There's no way. I was given this. I didn't sleep for a month. Body hurt, no energy. I don't know why I'm going into this, but I was at the worst point in my life ever. And I took suggestions. I actually followed a 12-step program and did shit that was uncomfortable for me, like talking. Talking about emotions, talking about what gets me angry when I'm angry, or where I'm going with this, authenticity, the inner matching the outer. Right now, I'm doing the same thing. I'm overworking a lot, I had to get my teeth removed, and I want to get implants because I don't want dentures, and so I'm working my ass off to save money to get some implants, and I'm probably going to go to Mexico. I've never been to the Florida dental work. But anyways, I'm just doing this. I just have this life, and it's working, and it's saving money right first week, I'd had enough. You know, I pushed myself. I like the physical work. I pushed myself so much that I came home and I had a commitment to a men's group with Dave, and I didn't make it for the first time in, I don't know, 8 weeks. And I didn't work the next day. I didn't work Thursday. Turned down work. And it felt good, you know, to listen to my body for a change. I mean, in the past, I would just keep getting high. I would call drugs performance enhancers because it would just keep me going, no matter how I felt, physically or mentally, you know, get me happy, no pain, you know, and keep pushing through. Well, I listened to my body. I didn't work for 3 days, and somebody was talking about magic, and I had something kind of magical happen to me Thursday, whenever I had no plans to work, no plans to do anything. And I don't know if it's, I mean, in recovery, we're asked to like turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understand Him, which people have a hard time with that word, but it's just a power greater than yourself. And for me, it was the group of people telling me to do this at Space Coast Recovery, and I saw it because I had been there 4 days before. I had seen people who had went in there in worse shape than me. I mean, had done a lot worse things in life and had straightened out their life. They were staffed when I went back. And so I did what they did. Anyways, so Thursday, I'm sitting at home, turning down work. It's like, I mean, and like a huge part of what I went to the workshop for was being stuck on certain feelings. And one big feeling that I had no relationship with my daughter. I mean, her mom was somebody I just met when I was on the playground in Denver. You know, messing around with her, got her pregnant. And was never really a part of my daughter's life. I signed away parental rights at 6. I was always on the road. I'd only seen her once. And you know, when she turned 18, she looked for me, she found me, and we started a relationship. And like, I guess I had too many ideas. I mean, there's no way I could change the past, and I mean, I just only have to deal with it now. Of course, I would have liked to have been a better father, dad to her, and have the relationship her stepdad, who's a great guy, has with her. But I mean, that'll never happen. But so anyways, in recovery, a lot of times people ask you, why'd you relapse? You know, it's like, I mean, for some it's just like getting high. You know, some of us are. For me, the last time that I broke my sobriety was because my daughter wasn't talking to me. It's like, you know, get off because, you know, I signed my rights to her, blah, blah, blah. You know, you tell yourself these stories that might not be true. And this is something I just realized in the past year too, that we tell ourselves a lot of lies, stories that make us feel a certain way, negative, and the way I have coped with negative feelings most of my life is, you know, get drunk, have a beer, and then it just goes downhill from there. Well, no, I don't do that anymore. I feel them and, you know, really examine them. Look, you know, it's like, what are you thinking? You know, and I share about it. I don't know where this is going, but authenticity. Okay, like I have always like worked my ass off, but like since I was a kid, you know, I've loved animals. I've always had an interest in, you know, science and, but always done good science and math or whatever. Like I did well in school just so, I don't know, I just excelled at it. And I could have been this or I could have been that. And now that I'm at this age, like, I'm thinking, you know, maybe I should do that. I should get my LPN or whatever. But like, I'm like torn by like, yeah, I need to find an easier way to make a living, but I don't want to do it in a way that I don't believe in. You know, it's like I don't want to be pushing meds or, you know, and so right now I'm struggling with, and I've always struggled with, just the way things are, you know, the way our society is. It's like culture of, I mean, it's not a healthy culture, you know. It's like take a pill to, you know, to deal with these symptoms instead of like preventing things, eating better or whatever. So right now, I don't even know if this is coherent, but like on a journey to just be healthier, you know, and oh man, this is, I think I'm gonna cringe when I see this. But yeah, I'm still struggling with direction here. I'm 56 years old, and I mean, I could continue doing what I'm doing, and you know, until the day I die, you know, and but since the workshop and doing things that make me uncomfortable like this, you know, or not doing things because I don't think I'm going to make any sense, like right now, and being a target for Tosh.0 or whatever, who I actually know people know that guy went to Titusville High School. And, anyway, I gave it a shot. I have no idea what that was about, but I came up here.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome, Jake. And it's weird because like you explained it perfectly of what it feels like being up here. You know, like I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know if it's making sense. I found myself saying, "Does that make sense to people?" Like 50 times in the past 2 days, and I'm like, "Oh wow, what am I fucking insecure about?" Like, oh, is it because I'm fucking saying some real fucking authentic gold? You know, probably. But I'm just gonna be scared instead. So like, you know, it's a constant battle, man. You did fucking amazing, dude. Like seriously, everything you said resonated hard. You know, like I just commend you on your journey, dude. You know, 14 months sober is no fucking easy task. I'm super proud of you, man, and you're an inspiration to me. So thanks for speaking, man. It was fucking awesome. I'm asking more people if they want to speak. And I want to make sure I'm not being a bully. Mr. Zach Hendershot. Woo! This dude is the reason why I have an amazing social media presence right now, and is the reason why every time these setups go on, I'm like, holy shit, man, this is so cool. And he makes me feel seen, and that's a really cool thing. So, Mr. Zach Hendershot.
Authenticity. I think that's one we, even today, a lot of us struggle with. Show of hands, how many of you struggle with authenticity and being your true self? I struggle with it a lot. Still not there. I wear fake contacts. You know, that's how authentic I am. Because I can't get past the fact that I was born with shit around my eyes. So blue seems better. You know, it's better. Back home, it was a struggle for me to find my true self. Find out what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do until 2 months ago. So, funny enough, someone that met me, or someone that taught me a lot about being authentic was this kid who put me on my ass. 17 years old. And we were playing tackle football in my cousin Neek's field, for a family reunion we'd have every year. And all of a sudden, out of my peripheral vision, I see this brick shit house of a bald-headed kid coming straight at me. I look over, boom, ball's in the air, I'm on the ground. I look up, his hand's laying out to help me help me back up. So I get up on the ground, he starts talking to me, start chatting a little bit. I knew his name, I knew of him, but I didn't really know who he was. Evidently he knew a lot about me because he told me a lot about myself I didn't know about. I knew that I fought MMA and that I trained pretty regularly. Was practically on his knees begging me to train him. I knew nothing about coaching, about teaching somebody anything. But I agreed. So for about a year straight, I had him running laps around my house, doing sprints in the front yard, hitting the punching bag, lifting weights. We were going to the gym regularly, and blossomed a beautiful friendship. It was this super bright kid, just real to himself, backwoods as fuck. You know, we lived out a winding one-lane road about 30 minutes from city limits, so everybody out there was country, but he was about as country as it got. And then we would always dream one day that he would get a Harley and I would get a Harley, and we would just ride. One day he did. He got his Harley a month after I got mine, and I woke up to a phone call one early morning that he had a bad accident and that he was going to lose his leg. So I rushed to the hospital, made sure he was okay. I would go see him a lot during our rehabilitation, bring him steaks from Texas Roadhouse because he loved bone and ribeyes. So that was his thing. And we still maintain that friendship even though I met somebody else in my life that taught me how to be my real self. The beautiful lady in the back there, 8 years now. She met me when I was someone who I'd never thought I'd be today. And Dalton struggled real bad with his leg. Getting past it, he was independent. He didn't want to rely on anybody. And he wouldn't rely on anybody. He did a lot of shit himself that he probably shouldn't have been doing. But he would still come over, we'd hang out, we'd play video games, we'd crack jokes. He would always make a joke because we'd order pizza and play games. And he'd recline, put the recliner up and lay his pizza down. He'd wiggle it at me and go, look how much space I have. And as we'd sit there and eat pizza together. And one day I got a phone call. The alcohol got the best of him. He drove his truck into the back of his dad's and got to a heated argument. Took out his .45, put to his temple, and he pulled the trigger. And that's something I've been struggling with a lot. And it's just kind of crazy how fast something can come in your life and change a lot of things. 3 months being a new amputee, you just didn't know how to deal with it. But regardless of the situation, he taught me so much about being authentic to yourself. She was a shining example of it. And then we packed our bags and moved to Florida because I was depressed. Ohio wasn't doing it for me. Spent 3 years doing the same repetitive process over and over again, raising 3 kids while I made it go to work. And we decided Florida may be the move, so we moved down here, hoping we would stay, not knowing if we would or not. We got a year lease in my dad's business. He had a really good business idea we thought would take off, and it would secure our spot here. It didn't take off. And thankfully, started doing what I love to do again, and I picked up a camera and started filming, and I started shooting photography. Met Robbie at a car show. Met Robbie at a car show because I was really big into cars. And we had a short conversation. And then about a week later, I hit him up on Instagram and I was like, hey, would you like some social media content, or, do you need filmmaker, photographer, and he was like, yeah, that sounds dope. Came in and talked to him, and here we are. I shoot his social media content on almost on a weekly basis now. And Robbie's another shining example of being authentic. And he's taught me a lot in the past 6 months that I've lived here. And taught me a lot of shit I didn't know about myself, helped me establish my self-worth, helped me realize, just how valuable I am. So I started pushing harder to be who I wanted to be and find my true self. Put out a couple advertisements for my business and some Melbourne, Florida groups. They got taken down almost instantly because evidently wasn't supposed to advertise in them. Made a post about it. Robbie commented on the post. He was like, no, fuck them. Like, keep doing you. Make another post. Get yourself out there. So I did, and it blew up overnight. And that week, I had over 120 messages I had to respond to. Producers in Los Angeles who would come to Orlando frequently that needed a director of photography, aviation companies, small businesses, chiropractors, the whole nine. So now I got a handful of clients that I handle monthly, secured my spot here in Florida. And we have another year to see where we go from there, because we can renew the lease now. Everything's going good. I stayed true to myself and I dug deeper. And doing what I love to do. And I just turned down a Monday 9 to 5, $100,000 a year salary because it wasn't what I wanted to do. It wouldn't have been the authentic me. I'm not meant to wake up and work 9 to 5 and come home and eat dinner and go to bed. It's nothing that's ever fitted my lifestyle. So even though it's something I'd love doing, and shooting airplanes would be really fucking cool. Being on a set time frame is just not something that was meant for me. So I told them during the interview that I wasn't fit for the job, and I regretted it immediately. After I got off the call, I emailed them back, tried to reach out, thinking I was stupid because that could have secured me and my family's spot here, and we would have ate good, we would have lived good. So about a week later, just kept sitting, waiting, checking my emails, hoping they would get back to me. They never did. And I realized it's for the better. Because I may not make $100K this year, but I'm doing what I love to do. I meet a lot of cool ass people. I'm figuring out who I am. And it just feels good. I guess that's what kind of I had to say.
All right. Y'all are getting to witness me like processing receiving love. And my immediate reaction is pain. I cry. Because fucking love is like, it's always been my number one ingredient, but it's so scary as fuck. So thank you, man. That was really difficult to receive, but really beautiful to receive. Anybody else? Mr. David Poirier, a beautiful man in my life. I like talking about the time that you yelled at me.
Because I don't yell at
No, it was like, damn, this dude means business. And I'm always proud to see the way you show up, man. Like, from the first human narrative that you weren't even at, you helped me, like, instill a confidence in continuing to do this, because you told me, even though you weren't here, it still changed your life because Kiki showed up. And that, like, will always sit with me, and that's always going to be, like, you guys have been around for a lot of, like, the big things I'm doing in the mental wellness world that scare the shit out of me, and you guys are always good reminders that like I'm doing good things. So thank you for always being y'all. Love you too.
Alright. So, I'm Kiki's husband. As we found last time, I'm David. Last Human Narrative, we spoke about passion, and the passion that I shared about was men's work. Dave, who spoke, is in our men's group, so that was really cool to see you, Dave, to get up here and push through that, and I'm proud of you, man. Gave me confidence to also get up here and share what I have to say. So, authenticity, I think, as we're growing up, we all kind of struggle with this, right? We all are trying to figure out who we are. And I just remember back to when I was a teenager, a young adult, how I would, do the whole fit in thing. And it was usually around like other guys, they would be talking about cars or fishing or, typical dude stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah, V6, this, yeah, I know exactly. I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. But, I would lead them on like I knew because I thought that was just the way to fit in. Dave, we were talking earlier, and you were telling me how, hey, I saw this thing on Facebook, and it reminded me of the song. Oh, you know that song, right? And I'm like, no, I don't, man. Because that's who I've grown to be now. It's like, I don't need to be fake about these kind of things. I can just tell you, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then that gives other people an opportunity to maybe share more with me, right? And then maybe I will learn something about it. So I think we all kind of go through a phase of that. Another thing I wanted to mention about authenticity is it's coming to me to say, don't be afraid to challenge your authenticity, especially if it's impeding joy. And I want to say that because I feel like a lot of times we see authenticity as just what feels right or what comes up right away. And I think for me, a lot of times those were just things I was taught, and they weren't actually who I was. There's a book by Don Miguel Ruiz called The Four Agreements, and he really dives into this piece. But it's things like in my life, like my wife and I and my daughter and our dogs and our cat, we lived in an RV for 4 years. When we first started talking about this, it scared the crap out of me. That didn't feel like the authentic me in a way, because that's not how I was taught to live. You have to have a house, right? You have to have the yard, you have to have all the things. That's the way you're supposed to live. So that felt authentic. And also, why? Right? And it's just because that's the way I was taught. That's the way I was taught that you should be and you should proceed in life. Luckily I have a very wild and adventurous wife, and persistent, and she talked me into doing this adventure, and it's one of the greatest joys of our lives together, is just traveling and being in an RV. And there's so many different things like that I find, like, I don't like bumper stickers on my vehicles, and so I look at that. Why don't I like that? And it's because I read something once that said, oh, they identify your vehicle like I'm committing crimes or something. It's like, so don't be afraid to challenge these things as they come up. And is that really the authentic me, or is this just something that I've agreed to in my life, or that's been taught to me? So that's been important for my journey, and I'm still challenging those things as they come up. The next thing I wanted to talk about is, do we have any people pleasers in the room? Because that's me, a people pleaser. So a lot of times, yeah. Used to be, yeah, okay. I'm working on it, okay? I definitely identify as a people pleaser. But that leads to a lot, for me, unauthenticity. Because I'm just trying to make other people happy, and what I find in myself is I deny my negative emotions. Rarely would I tell my wife, Kiki, I am mad at you. That made me angry. Well, because that's going to create conflict. I want to please her all the time. I want to create this environment where I'm just making everybody around me happy and sort of suppressing those emotions. At the same time, I'm a very honest person. I'm true to my word. If I tell you something, like, I mean it, and people know that about me. But when it comes to like emotions and what I'm feeling, that's where I can kind of go off the trail of authenticity. And I'm still working on that. I'm looking at that all the time. Is, you know, I don't know. I just don't like to look at the negative pieces of me. I like to just shove them down and oh, look at this happy thought over here. And you know, sometimes you can be mad and enjoy at the same time. You know, and they can both hit you, but I won't give the mad the time of day. And what I found is that is actually stealing from other people opportunities to show up for you in a certain way, or to have a real deep conversation. So I definitely wanted to share on that piece, because that's still a journey that I'm on. The other piece that I wanted to touch on, and I think the last piece that I have is, you know, I work in the corporate world, you know, and thankfully I work from home, and so most of the time I'm just, you know, in my house and I'm wearing whatever I want. But sometimes I have to go out and I have to market and I have to talk to people, and I'm working with lawyers and, you know, other business people, and, you know, it's suits and, you know, ties and, you know, dressing up. So it's like I still struggle with, you know, how can I be this, you know, my authentic me, you know, wearing a Sublime shirt, you know, in flip-flops, and bring that into that world, or do I need to bring that into that world? You know, it's because you kind of put on a face, right? Oh, this is who I am here. And, you know, it came up recently. I had to drive to Orlando to do a meeting with a vendor. And, you know, I put on the collar shirt, I put on the khaki pants, the, you know, dress shoes and everything. And I felt good, you know, I was comfortable. And I'm looking at my bracelet, and it says breathe on it. And the waythrough.org, that's come up a few times, the workshop. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, is that too airy-fairy? You know, I'm questioning this bracelet that I wear all the time. That means, you know, something to me. That's a good reminder to me. Should I take this off for that meeting? And it's just like, it's just a reminder that I'm still on that journey of like, okay, where's the line? Where do I blend it? And I chose to keep it on because I'm like, you know what? Who cares? That's me. That's part of me. And, you know, maybe it'll spark a cool conversation, because at the end of the day, these are people too, right? And I kind of put them in that box. Like, I make them inhuman because they're in a suit and, you know, they have a title and they have letters after their name. And, you know, you make it big, right? And like, oh, they can't be cool and wear flip-flops too because, you know, they're different. But at the end of the day, they're probably wearing a Sublime shirt on their day off too. So, and I don't even listen to Sublime anymore, but I used to, and I know a lot of the lyrics, and it's a cool shirt. So, you know, you change. So I think that's what I have. I just wanted to drop those few points. Thank you for everybody that went before me. Definitely got a lot out of it, and gave me time to build up the courage to get up here once again. Thanks, Chad and Robbie, for doing this. Appreciate it. That's all I got.
Man, I just love every time you get up and speak so much. Like, you're so fucking knowledgeable, and like, I love seeing confident David. It makes me very happy. I love it, man. I'm still reeling from everything that's been going on, so my head's not really here. Anyone else? How about that?
I just realized my story didn't make any sense.
Dude, it made a whole lot of fucking sense, dude. You painted a picture of your journey to
I had
us.
like a day that was divinely orchestrated and magical, and I didn't even go into it.
I mean, if you need to get up and share that, you're more than welcome to,
I
man.
mean, to me, it was just a lot of coincidences that just showed me I was on the right path. You know, like I was talking to him about the "I'm Brave by the Chicken Shit" lyric by Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
Okay, well that day I was sitting home doing nothing. My daughter's husband, who I've only met once, happened to be in Melbourne because he flies jets, and he was picking up a new jet. And I just happened to look at Facebook stories, It says Melbourne Beach. And I'm like, is he in Australia or is he here? It's like, because he didn't, it's like, turned out he was here. I went to look at, I went back to look at the story, and he deleted it because he didn't want to like impose on anybody. And I asked him, hey, are you here? Sure enough, he was here. And well, I was too chicken shit to go see him on my own, so I asked my sister, and she's like, she couldn't do it. And then this guy called me from Palm Bay wanting my help, and I'm like, I never go to Palm Bay. Well, I talked to him, for my son-in-law. I don't know if this is even making sense again.
It's making sense, yeah.
Okay. Well, he got displaced from the Hyatt because of some convention. I don't know what was going on, but they put him in Palm Bay at the Hyatt, like right off 95 by the Hardy place. And it's like 5 miles from where that guy who wanted my help was. I planned on doing nothing that day, but he really needs my help. So I go, oh, okay, it's the right thing. I'm going to go help this guy. I go see my son-in-law. And, well, as I'm going there, my car overheats. Freaking coolant goes shooting out everywhere. It's like, okay, I'm going to make it no matter what. So, whatever, I keep driving. I have the heater on full blast. And, well, like, I look on Facebook, and it's like this guy I know. I mean, I was looking to Messenger to tell the guy my son-in-law that I was on the way. He posted, I'm brave, but I'm chicken shit. It's like, really ring a bell. It's like, hey, that's the one that's more said. Well, that was the exact album that her mom, I mean, that album was big, like in 1995. I don't know if anybody's that old, but like toward the end of the year, we would listen to, we loved that album, her and her mom and I, and it's like that just like gave me goosebumps. Like, holy shit, why would somebody post that? I'm brave, but I'm chicken shit. And that's exactly how I felt at that moment.
Yeah.
I'm brave, but I'm chicken shit. And it was Alanis, and that was her and her mom, her mom and I's, album. And it's like, oh man, it's like a meaningful coincidence that showed me, I was like on the right path. And that felt kind of magical, in a way. Well, that really didn't. It was the fact that a couple weeks earlier I had spoke that I would like to be closer to my daughter and son-in-law.
Divine alignment.
Yeah, that I had spoke it,
Manifested it.
and then it just happened. It's like I had this opportunity and I seized it. And then as I'm going there, I read all these obstacles, like the cart, and then reading that lyric, it's like it just felt like there was a hand in it,
Those moments.
Yeah, and it felt magical at the same time.
Nah, absolutely, man. That's like why I like having these rooms happen, because like that magical shit continues to happen. And there's something magical that happened here tonight for me, for sure, and I'm sure for a few other people too. So that's why I love having these rooms happen, and I'm really glad to have you here, man. And I'm glad you're brave with your chicken shit. You're showing us all that we can do it scared, and that's the whole thing, man. That's what getting up here is all about. Just doing it even if you're scared, because everybody's got a fucking story to tell, and we're all here to listen. So, with that being said, is there anyone else that would like to speak before we close the night? Come on, guys, you got one more? 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, there is no one else that is ready to speak, unless there is.
One of the Megs.
Why are you always pushing Meg to go, but you'll never go?
Well, I can't because the live feeds will get shut down because my shirt's see-through.
Sure, dude. You can wear my other shirt.
Peer pressure don't work here.
Nah, not in that world. She'll be like, fuck you.
I know.
She'll be like, you guys are gonna look stupid when I don't do what you want. All right. So, with that being said, thank you everyone for showing up. This has been a really fucking awesome night for me. Thank you, Chad, for continuing to be so diligent and like doing such a major part in making these happen. Thank you everyone that shared tonight, everyone that showed up actually. It always makes me feel good when there's people in the room to talk to when we do these events, and then even better when people start talking from the room. That's even cooler. So it was really great to hear a little bit of everyone's story that shared tonight. And everyone else that wanted to share tonight but didn't, or didn't want to share tonight but might, we do the human narrative thing often. We're trying to push it into like a monthly thing, but I'm going to start traveling now, so who knows how that's going to fucking roll. But we'll figure it out because I love doing this stuff and I really appreciate you guys for being here. Everyone on the social media, thank you for showing up. We really appreciate everyone's just participation in this because it was just like this wacky pipe dream that we kept talking about, and like every time these rooms happen, like dude, I'm a fucking mess right now. Like tonight, like took me apart, and like in a good way, but I've had a really fucking rough week. So it's like really nice that I got to fucking just like let some things out. Share some parts of my story and connect with some of y'all's, actually all y'all's stories. So thank you all for showing up. Everyone on the internet world, check out the Rad Movement on YouTube. Check out Rad Paranormal. Sorry, I'm still not all here, so then Patreon, yes, I know there's shout outs I gotta do. The Patreon for the human narrative. It's just going to be content of the previously recorded events, and then just other added content that we do randomly, and so on and so forth. So thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for being a part of this in any way you are. Subscribe to the Patreon, that'd be cool. And we will be announcing the dates for the next human narrative when we figure them out. So, and like that's kind of a cool representation of not knowing what the fuck you're doing, but just doing it anyway, right? I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was fucking sitting, painting those doors, crying, being like, this place is never gonna work. And like, it's been open for 4 years now. And now these fucking rooms happen, and like 2 rad dudes fucking moved from across this fucking country to fucking work here. I've got a great staff outside of them too, so like I feel like I have a team that's behind me, and you guys feel like a part of that team too because y'all show up, because this shit is like healing my inner child big time. Like I feel like who's gonna show up to my birthday party, and you guys always fucking show up, and it feels great to see the people that do show up. And I commend everyone that got up and spoke, no matter how scared they were, no matter how much sense it didn't make to them. It was a string of words that we were all able to follow along with and connect with. Every fucking story tonight I connected with deeply. So if you are worried about doing anything in your life, especially outside of here, because getting up and speaking, that's one thing, but like, really making a leap in your life, taking a career path shift, figuring out who the fuck you are. Me and my client today, we talked about like who the fuck are we, like, and like what are we doing here, and what do we want out of life, and like that's a big story. And he's 43 and I'm 43, so like it's a big thing to be a grown up and not know what the fuck you want to do when you're grown up, because like you're a grown up, but then you're like this part of being a grown up, and nobody tells you. It's like compartmental, and you fucking feel like a different grown up later on in life, and now you're a different grown up than you were before. And now you have to learn how to be that grown up all over again. So like, you never know what the fuck you really want is, I guess, the end statement. You never really fucking know who you are. So just lean into what it feels like and what feels the best and what's most aligned. And for me, that's doing things that make me uncomfortable, that bring me so much joy on the other side. Such a great feeling of accomplishment. And such gratitude for being in a room full of like loving hearts that have been sharing and giving and receiving, and it's just been a beautiful fucking night. So thank you all so much for showing up, and we hope to see you again in the future.